So I'm getting ready to do another random visit, except this one is a follow-up. This is somebody that we've already done a visit with, and we're going to get a chance to do, well, exactly that, a follow-up. I'm getting ready to visit with Mark for the third time, actually. We did 2 visits back-to-back when I first met him, and today I get a chance to do this follow-up with him and talk to him about the fact that, one, there's been some interest of people reaching out to me who want to be a pen pal to him, who I've already passed along his information to. And also, I want to talk with him a little bit more about what he was wanting information on. In particular, a potential illegal search and seizure in relation to him getting arrested. He says that he rolled through a stop sign in a car that wasn't his. There was weed in the car. There was meth in the car. Police pulled him over for rolling through the stop sign, said that they smelled the weed. He gave them the weed. And I know here in the state of Virginia, that's automatic probable cause, especially if it's an illegal substance. Crazy to think that weed is that still in some states, and it's now legal in my state, Virginia, and a few other states as well. But then they find the meth, and now he's locked up for those 2 charges plus a parole violation, and he's already been down for 15 or 18 months. How much time does a guy like this have to do? How crazy is his record previous? Let's talk with him and see what he thinks about the fact that there are people who want to be a pen pal to him. How long does he think he's going to be in there for? And let's just see what's going on with Mark in this follow-up.
Hello.
Hey, Mark, what's going on with you?
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I see you got on a different get-up today.
Oh, this is my work shirt.
And you're getting ready to go to work in the next 30 minutes.
Correct, sir.
Well, I appreciate your time again. We've spoken a little bit via messages. I'm going to record this call as well to turn this into a video. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
Fantastic. I just wanted to ask and make sure that that was cool. Look, let me give you a little bit of an update.
All right.
So since doing the first random visit that I did with you, I put that video up, and there's been a few, probably a handful of people, maybe like 5 or so people who have reached out wanting to be a pen pal to you. I've passed along your information, and hopefully soon you'll be getting some mail.
Oh, okay. Cool. It's like the mail process here, it takes about, I don't know, almost 8 to 9 days for me to get a letter, if I was to get a letter. But if it was from like a lawyer, it takes less than that.
And why is that?
That's how the mail system here is. Either they're lazy either they read the mail, or they take for a long time for a letter to get. That's even locally. So it just, for some reason, but if it's like an attorney or something like that, they hurry up and give us the letter quicker then, because you can look on the post date, the stamp on there, and it just shows how long it takes.
Yeah, I can imagine they're probably screening it, and that takes some time or whatever.
And some people think that, oh, well, you don't want to talk to me or something like that. I'm just letting you know that it does take quite a time for me to get a letter.
So let that be to anybody who potentially is writing to you. Just be patient. I'm quite sure you would be eager to receive some mail.
Oh, yeah.
You know, let me ask you this real quick. What is your thought hearing me tell you that, you know, but there's a handful of people interested in writing to you?
You know, when you told me that, I was kind of like curious, what could they possibly want to talk about, or maybe they might help me in my situation by telling me a legal advice or something like that. I mean, I didn't know what they could possibly. I mean, I'm shocked and surprised and eager to hear from them.
Well, it's awesome to hear that, and it's good to be able to do a good thing. I personally know what it's like to be in there with no support, and I'm just happy to know that I'm able to help in between some potential pen pal support for you.
All right. Thank you.
Let's go ahead and move on. One of the biggest things that you were questioning was in relation to your case. Did the tow truck driver have the right to go into your vehicle, or the vehicle that you were driving? And
Correct.
everything that I've seen in relation to that, and also people have been emailing me with information in regards to it. Maybe not so much in the state of Texas, but case law from other states. So I don't even know if this is really all that helpful to you particularly. But, with the fact that you handed them the weed, that was already probable cause enough for them to potentially search the vehicle. Now, I know your big question is, does the tow truck driver have the right to be who unlocks that car? And
Right.
that is still that question that's not answered. Yes, a tow
Right.
truck driver can unlock a car. Let's say he's towing a car, the car is locked, he needs to put the car in neutral, but can the tow truck driver unlock the car for the police? Again, is that gray area.
Correct. The way I looked at it, they didn't. He didn't get consent from the owner, nor did he even get consent from me. And you mentioned something very interesting. A lot of people don't know the amendment rights, the Fourth Amendment right, which is a search and seizures. Under Tracy Myers at a Yale University, she has stated, because they have on this tablet, they have law library. And I had looked under the Fourth Amendment rights at search and seizure. And she's a Yale University professor. And she says that there's no such thing as probable cause. There's no such thing as probable cause. It's misinterpreted. So
I don't have any knowledge of that. All I can tell you is in my personal case, there was I was in a similar situation, except a lot worse than yours. When I went to prison, I was driving a car. I didn't have a license to drive a car. That was the probable cause for them to search the vehicle. They found drugs. That's how I ended up going to prison. So,
well, I mean, was there a lawful stop to that?
yeah, they said that I was speeding. Or, they can say anything. And then they brought a canine out there, and the canine's jumping all over the car. And my thought on that was, all you got to do is tug the leash and make the canine jump.
Right. Okay.
But,
All right.
their defense, the first thing they did was put the canine officer on the stand and say that Sparky was getting trained 4 times a week and that he led to the apprehension of 100, whatever. Like, this dog was doing his job. So he was definitely a credible witness, so to speak.
And like I said, whenever if he had probable cause, why did he ask me over 8 times, 9 times to search the vehicle?
Because
And
he
then-
wanted that clarification. And had you just said, okay, yes, you can search it, the whole illegal search and seizure is out the window. He's covered his bases.
And then when the tow truck driver did unlock the door, the officer came back to me and he said, "May I do an inventory search of the vehicle?" Which I said, "No, go get a warrant." And then you know what else? When they do an inventory search of a vehicle, they're supposed to protect your personal belongings, something of value. When I was ordered out of the vehicle, on my person I had a pack of cigarettes, a lighter, a knife, and in my wallet I had over $600. Okay, so I wasn't under arrest at the time. And then whenever he found out the doors were locked, he came back, he arrested me for the marijuana when he said he was going to give me a traffic violation or a ticket for it. So then when he put me in the back seat, all my belongings that I had on me, the car doesn't belong to me. Like I said, the car didn't belong to me. He put my lighter, my cigarettes, and my wallet on top of his dash. I mean, on the hood of the car. So I'm in the cruiser, sitting there waiting and waiting. The tow truck driver gets there. They do, and then they end up, he said he wanted to do the inventory search. I told him no. So then when I get to the jail, I had asked him, I said, "Hey, well, where's my stuff at?" He put all that stuff in a car that doesn't belong to me. Now, you're taking me to jail. Why would you deprive me of my $600, over $600 that I had on my person? Why would you put that in the vehicle that does not belong to me? You're depriving me from not making bond. You're taking me to jail so I can have some money, a commissary money or something. Why would you put money in a vehicle that did not belong to me? You're supposed to protect my property. You're supposed to, anything. Look, I could understand that if it was in the vehicle, leave it in the vehicle. but it was on my person. Why do you,
Well,
I mean,
I don't want to, speculate, but I will. He might have just taken the money and just said that he put it in the car and then the money's gone. But neither here nor there. We can't cry over the spilt milk. And I don't want to make this just a straight legal just a straight legal conversation. What I do want to say is this. No matter what is going on, you've been locked up now for 15, 18 months. How long has it been?
15 months. 15 months, and by the time I go to court, it's going to be 18.
So you're sitting in there for possession. Is that correct?
Possession of a controlled substance.
Times 2 for the 2 different drugs.
No, the other one's a misdemeanor.
Okay, so you got just a simple possession charge, a misdemeanor, and was there the parole violation as well if you're found guilty, correct?
Correct. Which
is
is the reason why I'm being held is because of the blue warrant.
Because of the violation.
The violation, correct. I mean, I could post bond, but it doesn't matter because of the blue warrant. It has a no bond.
Right, exactly. So you've got that parole violation that is crazy to think about because you haven't even been found guilty of this charge yet, but you're being punished for the parole violation already being held with no bond. Where I'm really going with all of this is you're in a really messed up situation it seems to have been handled completely the wrong way, but also how much time does a simple possession charge carry? You've been in there for 15 months. It'll be 18 months by the time you go to court. You're going to get time served, wouldn't you imagine?
On the possession of marijuana, yes. That's even when I went to the judge, she's like, wow, this has been way over a year. Okay, now on the possession of the controlled substance, they have it as a second-degree felony, which is a 2 to 20. They can give me anywhere from 2 years to 20 years. But with my priors, my background, which I've never had a drug charge, but with my priors, they enhanced it where they're giving me 25 to life. That's where the range is at, 25 to life. Now they have came up to me with a plea bargain, which started off at 50, and I turned it down.
50 years?
Yeah.
50.
Yeah. That's what their plea. That's their first plea bargain.
Okay.
Now they can.
Let me just ask this, and sorry for interrupting you, but I need to get these facts out there. You got caught with the marijuana, which was a misdemeanor, and you also got caught with meth.
Correct.
How much meth was in that car that they charged you with?
It was 8.8 grams.
8.8 grams. Is that a simple possession, or is that a?
Well, they charge it. Okay, so if you get caught with 1 gram below, it's a state jail felony, which is anywhere from all the way up to 2 years. If you get caught with 1 to 4 grams, between 1 and 4 grams, it's a third-degree felony, which is 2 to 10. And then 4 to 200 grams, that's the range that I fall under. It was 2 to 20. And then I guess 200 grams on up would be a first-degree felony, which would be 5 to 99.
So you're facing 2 to 20 just on that charge.
But they enhanced it to
because of your previous. So they're giving you the 3 strike law is what they're doing.
Right, correct.
So because you've got 2 prior felony convictions, is that how that works?
The enhancements are a DWI and a theft charge.
You've got a DWI, which is a felony. You've got a theft charge, which is a felony. And now you got caught with 8 grams, or you got arrested for 8 grams of methamphetamine. And that's the 3rd felony. These are all 3 different total felonies. These are 3 totally different things at 3 totally different points in your life. You were out there working.
Yeah.
So wherever the drugs fall into that, you didn't even get caught like breaking into something. You weren't committing a crime because of or for these drugs. You just got caught simply in possession of these drugs. And because of that,
in a vehicle that wasn't mine.
And because of that, you're facing life.
25 to life. Yeah.
Mark, let me do this with you one more time, okay?
Okay.
I'll call you right back.
Okay. All right. Bye.
I had no idea about that. That almost makes me like get some chills. Because let me tell you something, they don't have that in the state of Virginia. And I can guarantee you on my record, I know I got 3 felonies. This man caught a DUI, a theft charge, and a meth charge. And he's facing upwards of life for this. And they've come at him with a plea bargain for 50 years? Can you hear me, Mark?
Yes, sir.
You know, the first thing that I want to say is I had no idea about the extreme nature of your case.
Yeah.
You know, I thought maybe you were going to get a parole violation. You might get a couple of years. And that was crazy to me to hear, to think, you know, because you'd been in there for 18 months at that point by the time you go back to court for a simple possession charge. But to hear the amount of time that you're facing and to hear the plea bargain that they've offered you.
It's ridiculous. Because the way I look at it, if you go to trial, look, watch this. This is the funny part. So if I was to go to trial and I was to have a jury trial, okay, they tell the jury, well, he's facing 2 to 20. 2 to 20. The whole time they're going to say that. The whole time during the trial, they're going to say 2 to 20. Now, when the jury says, okay, we know what? Okay, we're going to find him guilty. We might give him 10 years. Okay, when they find me guilty, well, then they go to the punishment phase. And in the punishment phase, they're going to sit there and tell the jury, okay, this is a punishment phase. Y'all can pick anywhere from 25 to life.
Because of the 3 strikes.
And then they're going to sit there and they're going to bring up my previous background record or criminal record or whatever. So really, that's not even in the range of 2 to 20, because how can I say it about I don't even know how to explain it.
The guidelines are way out of the ballpark for what you got caught with. Let's go back to what you got caught with. You mentioned the scale on how they come up with the amount of time. 1 to 4 grams is so much, and then 4 grams to 200 grams. Okay, we're talking about an 8 ball to probably a pound or better. You know, that they're gonna punish that the same way.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't even know what to say. Like, I wish, and I think, like, what could I honestly do? And I think that just doing this visit with you and trying to gain some exposure for your situation, because is the least that I can do. Let me say that first and foremost. And I think to myself, how many other people are locked up in that state in Texas who have gone through something similar to that? They've gotten their life taken away from them for 3 things that have nothing to do with any of those things.
Exactly. There's so many people in prison it's just, they just lock up people. I mean, right now I feel like my amendment rights are being violated because what happened in my speedy trial? I'm eligible to have, and I wrote the judge and I've asked my lawyer. Now, when I had this court-appointed lawyer, he came at me with 50 years, and I'm like, golly. Now I had some money in the bank and saved up and everything, and so I said, you know what? I better get me a lawyer, because to me, the judges, the lawyers, they all in the DA. They all sleep in the same bed. They all bathe in the same water. To me, they're crooked. So I said, you know what? I better spend some money. So I spent $15,000 on the lawyer. I paid a lawyer, thinking that he's going to. And when I explained my case to him, gave him everything to the T. I told him everything to the T. He told me we're going to get a dismissal. We're going to get a dismissal. Okay. So then when I went over there and had my father go over there and hand him the money, I see him in court. That's it. I haven't even seen the video. I can go get the video. I can go get the video from the police department. I got to pay $10 for the DVD, 25 cents every additional minute. But why should I have to do that? And I keep on asking my lawyer, hey, let me see the video. I want to see the video. See if there was a traffic violation that I committed. And then when I sit there, and then when I went to court the other day, about 5 months ago, when I went to court, the DA had gave me a second plea bargain, which my lawyer never came at me and told me about it. So they went down to 30 years. My lawyer, he sat there and said, we're not taking it. We got motions to file, and that's where we're at.
So do you have faith in the lawyer that you have right now that, that he's going to be able to do something?
I'm kind of like wishing I would have hired somebody else. I mean, I do have faith in him. I hope that, I hope that he'll get out there and fight with me, because this is what he said. He goes, we're going to file a motion to suppress the evidence, meaning that there is no probable cause for them to pull me over because of the traffic violation. I did not roll through that stop sign. He goes, we're going to take it to the judge, and the judge will determine. And I'm like, okay. He goes, but do you want to accept the plea bargain? And I'm like, well, I'm stuck between a wall and a rock. So, because if I take it say the judge says that is not a stop, so we got to go to trial. Now he said the plea bargain is off the table. Well, I'm not want to cop out. And I asked him, I said, what does the video look like? He goes, well, I want to show it to you. Well, if you show it to me, I'm going to justify it. I'm going to sit there and say, oh, that was a stop. And then I asked him, well, what about the tow truck driver? He goes, well, and he tells me the same thing. He goes, he had probable cause. The tow truck driver has probable cause just to tow the vehicle. He doesn't need to get in the vehicle. He was right back up to it. He had that sled bed where he could just latch onto it and pull it up there.
Wow, that's interesting to know, yeah. You didn't have a regular tow truck, just a flatbed.
Yeah, and so another thing is, there was a SIM card that was with the drugs. A SIM card, that SIM card?
Yeah.
Okay. And I said, well, whose ever SIM card that is, that's who drugs it is. The card doesn't belong to me. But you know what the funny part is? He asked me, he goes, be honest with me. Does the drugs belong to you? And I go, you know what? I go, the vehicle does not belong to me. I'm a middle child. I have an older sister and I have a little sister. The vehicle belonged to my little sister. My little sister does not have no criminal record or nothing like that. Now, do I want her to get in trouble for anything? No. So it just falls right back on me. And he asked me, he goes, is it your sister's drugs? I'm not going to sit there and say that. I'm not going to. Hey, you know what? Somebody, if you have an older brother, an older sister, they're going to look out for you. They're going to look up for you. They're going to take care of you. And I feel like now she just basically turned her back on me. She don't even talk to me anymore. And I'm like, you're sorry. But hey, you know what? I'm going to beat this. I know I'm going to beat this. And if I don't,
let me ask you this. I'm sorry to jump in here, but I need to, because I don't know how much time we have left. In the state of Texas, how much time do you do? Is it 85%? Is it 100% of your time?
No. Okay. Say on a 25. I can just give you an estimate on 25 because that's what I had the last time. Okay, on a 25, you do 2.5 years to come up for parole. The parole is discretionary. That doesn't mean that you'll make it. So, the short way is discretionary. You might make it, you might not make it. I did, on that 25 that I had the last time, I did 5.5 years. I come up for parole. I made my third parole on that. So On a 30-year sentence, I might have to do maybe 3 years, 4 years. But then you're on parole for, like, I don't get off parole till 2039.
And again, they gave you 25 years for a theft charge.
Correct.
And it was only because you had a previous felony, which was a DUI. So your second felony, it's not so much what you did, it's the fact that you already had, that would have made your second felony that got you that 25.
Right. Well, right. They enhanced it.
You know, look, I know we're probably getting short on time. I want to stay in contact with you and try to get as much exposure for the fact that down there in Texas, they are just handling things not good.
Right. Correct. Because you know what? Even when you go to prison and you're incarcerated, that doesn't mean that you're out of the woods, because, you know, you're supposed to go down there and do your time. Okay. So if you're in a unit and you get in trouble for anything, like something little, they do write-ups. So you have a major case and a minor case. A major case will set you a year back, meaning that if you're coming up for parole, you cannot see parole for a whole another year until that major case is completed. So it's just that you got to walk a straight line. Now, if you walk a straight line, well, guess what? Now you're manipulating the system.
So you can't. So you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Even if you're getting in no trouble at all, they're going to consider that you're being sneaky or manipulating the system. You're probably doing something you're not supposed to be doing.
I mean, even if you're doing the things right. I mean, me, unfortunately, I was able to have a outside job. I worked maintenance. I know a lot of things with because that's what I do. I rebuild houses and fix up stuff, lawn service. I had to make my own business to live off, because it's very hard to find a job with the background that I have. So I can work with my hands. I'm not good with technology. I don't know the size of computers and stuff like that. But with my hands, I can fix a car. I can change the oil. I can roof. I can do stuff with my hands. I'm not very good at reading. I'm not very good at writing. But with my hands, I make stuff. I build stuff, art, whatever. Like I did culinary arts. I mean, I'm good cooking and stuff like that.
I want to say this. It's my hope that even more people are going to want to reach out now that we've heard this whole other side of what's really going on with you and what you're facing. And it's also my hope that, you know, maybe somebody could help in some kind of a way. Maybe they know some things legally or anything. But I can't even sit here and fathom a person who has made 3 mistakes in their life, 3 totally different times in their life. You know, it sounds like you're a hard worker. You just made 3 mistakes, and these things have nothing to do with any of the other mistakes. And now you're facing the rest of your life locked up.
Right. Or I can take the plea bargain. I'm not going to take the plea bargain. I gotta see the video. That's why I was asking you. It would have been nice if I could send you, if I was able to get hands on the video, to have other people's point of views to see, was it a traffic violation that I committed? Because if it was a traffic violation, if I did roll through that stop sign, well, then you know what? Then I better take that plea bargain. But if I did not roll through that stop sign, well, you know what? I need to roll the dice and take it all the way to trial.
Boy, that's a dangerous game to play right there, especially down there in Texas. Let me say this: if there's any way that I can get the video, message me and let me know what I need to do that, and I'll try to do that. Also, as we get closer to the end of this, you know, Mark, what do you want to say to people?
Well, I really thank you for what you're doing. I really do. I mean, it puts, you know what, you are letting people that are incarcerated or locked up have a voice or speaking out to know what it is like in here, especially in Texas. Texas, there's more people incarcerated than ever, than any other state. If I could tell you the stuff that I've seen in the prison system, I remember the last prison that I was at Eastham. Eastham was a place where Bonnie and Clyde was in prison at. The federal agents ran up in there because the officers were stealing so much stuff from the government because it's government funding that they get from the unit. And they were stealing all this stuff, tractors, cattle, all sorts of stuff.
Look,
Time's
Mark,
running out.
I'll talk with you soon, okay? I'll be in contact via messenger.
All right, thank you. All right, bye.
Damn. I just realized that Texas is 35 cents a minute, whereas here locally, it's only 25 cents a minute. That's crazy. My God. I had no idea that this man's case was as severe as it is. And, you know, I'll be the first to say the man's made 3 mistakes. He's down there in Texas. You ought to know that if you're in Texas or a state that's got a 3-strike thing, you might want to try to avoid getting in trouble and catching 3 felonies. But to think that this man's entire life could potentially be snatched away from him over 8 grams of meth. Folks, I'm hopeful that many of you will be interested in corresponding and writing Mark, and maybe somebody out there knows something that I certainly don't know. But I would hate to see this man lose the rest of his life over something that I think is as stupid as what he's still locked up down there for. You guys let me know what you thought about this, and I'll look forward to talking with you again real soon.